Are you looking for healthy recipes that are delicious and have flavor? Who wants to eat boring, bland food? Nobody does. Well, if you've been following me in 2023, you know I'm bringing the spice and we're bringing the flavor this year. So stick with me. I have a couple of great recipes. We're going to do a lasagna. 2 ways, both healthy but delicious. I have a great Mexican salad, quinoa salad, that's going to knock your socks off, and if you're in for flavor, that's the one you want to hear. And I'm going to do a couple of breakfasts just because we haven't for a while. So if you're new here, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you as part of our family here, because guess what? We are all family here, guys. We're all on the same journey, I think. I'm on a journey to get healthy, lose some weight, lower my cholesterol, and make sure that I move every day. If that interests you, stick around, and don't forget, hit that subscribe button, scooch on over, hit that bell icon, tell your friends and family, and most of all, make these recipes and share with your friends and family. So let's get into the kitchen and let's start cooking. So for breakfast, I'm actually going to do overnight oats because I haven't done that in such a long time. And I just think it's simple. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to grab any kind of container that you have. And I'm not very good at this, so I use one of these because it just makes life so much easier. So I'm going to put in my oats into each jar. And I'm doing about 1/2 cup, which will be more than enough for me. And then I'm going to do 2 different flavors. And this is the great thing about overnight oats, is that you could just do whatever flavors you want. And honestly, you really don't need to measure. Now I'm adding chia seeds, so you're going to be adding your omega-3s. It's going to help thicken it up. It's going to make it delicious. So I'm going to do one that's going to be like a cinnamon one that I'll put some fruit in. And then, so that one I'll put some cinnamon in. There we go. And then this one I'm going to make a chocolate one. So I'm going to put some cacao powder. So you could use cocoa powder, cacao powder, whatever you have. Just remember that cacao powder is a little bit more bitter. So you could add a little bit of sugar of some sort. I'm pretty okay with cacao powder and it being the way it is. And the cinnamon. Now I'm going to mix this up before I put my frozen fruit in there. So now we're just going to take our plant milk of choice. I happen to have almond milk opened right now, so we're going to put our almond milk in here. You want to give it a stir so that your chia seeds kind of get mixed up. Get your cinnamon incorporated. And I always like waiting until the next day before I add sugar or anything. I may top it with a little maple syrup. I do like to top it sometimes with a little bit of nut butter. And so that one is ready. And again, these are just so simple. It's a great thing about overnight oats. Now add a little extra liquid when you're dealing with cacao powder or cocoa powder because it actually does absorb. And so remember that tip when you're baking. So don't just take a vanilla cake recipe and add cocoa powder to it, because you'll have to up your liquid because that cocoa powder is going to absorb some of it. And this will be great. I'm going to top this one with banana when we have it tomorrow. And a little bit of peanut butter. There we go. We're just going to put our lids on and stick these in the fridge. I have fresh fruit, so I'm going to let this sit overnight and then I'll add my fresh fruit and whatever I want in the morning. And I will show you how I fix these up in the morning. Now we're going to make our Mexican quinoa salad. Super simple. So I've already cooked some quinoa. Nice and easy. I get my quinoa from Costco, so you actually don't have to rinse that, but any other quinoa you normally rinse it first. It's a 2-to-1 ratio. Just cook it in a pot. So I've cooked it, I've let it cool down a little bit, and this takes a couple of simple ingredients. We're going to have some corn. I've actually taken some frozen corn and defrosted it. You could use canned corn. You could use a Mexican corn. They have them in the cans with spices already, but because our dressing is going to be flavorful, I'm kind of leaving everything a little bit more muted. Again, you can kick it up a notch. My husband will add his extra hot green salsa verde to this because it won't be hot enough for him. But in order for me to be able to eat it, I can't have it that hot. So we start with a base. We start with a base recipe here in our house, and then he just adds extra to his. So you guys do you. This is the base recipe, and then you guys can increase your heat level to your liking. But this is a fabulous recipe. It's chock full of nutrients and protein, and it's delicious, great for picnics and everything because it's not going to go bad. Then we have our bowl. We're going to use some of our quinoa. Which is super simple. We're going to add some black beans. We're going to add our frozen corn that I've defrosted. It's still a little bit frozen, but that's okay. The warm quinoa is going to defrost that in no time at all. So now we're just going to chop up some cilantro, and you can use as much or as little. I would use between half a cup and a cup of cilantro, totally up to you. If you don't like cilantro, you can always use parsley. And then we are going to cut up about half of a red onion. This adds great flavor, and the color goes in the salad. It just makes this whole salad just gorgeous. I absolutely love this salad. It's super simple and delicious. And then our last ingredient is just a chopped tomato. And again, you can put as much or as little as you want in. Just going to give everything a nice toss. How gorgeous that is. Now for the dressing. So now we're going to make our dressing for our Mexican salad, and it's super simple. We're going to be using silken tofu, and again, I use the one in the Tetra box. It does make a difference opposed to the fresh tofu, and we're just going to put that into our little food processor. You need about maybe 3/4 of the package. Just save the extras, put it in a smoothie tomorrow. Then we're going to put in our salsa verde. And again, this goes by your taste. Just put in as much as you'd like and just keep going back and checking it. We're going to blend this until it's smooth. And then you're going to want to just check it and then just adjust the seasoning. Add a little salt and pepper if you need it. Other than that, this is an amazing sauce. So super simple, so easy. And nobody is going to know that there's tofu in it. Trust me. Now we're going to combine our dressing with our salad and just mix that thoroughly. Just get everything well coated. Super simple. Just keep adding it up until it's nice and moist just the way you like it. And you just want to chill this for a couple of hours just so all the flavors melt together and you're ready to go. So let's give this salad a try. I'm going to try to get everything on one fork. Super delicious. Don't know if you can see that, but gluten-free. Get a nice kick of spice. See, that's perfect for me. My husband will add his extra hot salsa verde on top of that, and that's okay. That is a great salad. And again, if you wanted to switch out the quinoa for rice, orzo, or pasta, and that would be great. Make a great pasta salad like this Mexican pasta salad. Perfect. Hope you guys enjoy this one. Give it a try for sure. Now we're going to make our lasagna, and we need a couple of things. We need our sauce. And we need our lasagna noodles. So I'm actually going to try these oven ready lasagna noodles. To be honest, I've never used them before, so it's going to be an experiment. But I'm also going to use zucchini. So I'm going to make one kind of, you know, place. I've already cooked my zucchini noodles just because they do need to be cooked. If you put them in raw, it'll just make your lasagna way wetter than it needs to be. And for our sauce, we're going to use mushrooms and onions. We're going to saute them down. That's kind of going to be the meaty part. I'm just going to use a jar sauce. I'm going to keep it simple this time. You could make your own, do whatever you want. Easy peasy. And then as for the cheese layer, you can make a cashew cream sauce if you'd like for that. I'm actually going to just use some either nutritional yeast or just some, you know, vegan mozzarella from Aldi. I don't use a lot of it. I just use a little bit in there. And again, with the nutritional yeast, it makes it, I think, beautiful. So, but you guys do whatever you want to do. My husband is actually trying to eat less meat and stuff, so he's asked me to use the cheese. We're doing a happy medium for everybody, so here we go. So the first thing we're going to do is go to the stove. We're going to saute some of our onions and mushrooms down, add our sauce and let it simmer just for, you know, a few minutes, get some flavor in there, and then add some extra spices of our own. I always love doctoring up jar sauces. They're a great base. And the ones, actually the simple nature from Aldi is pretty clean, it's pretty good. So we're just gonna get some heat in our pan, and I'm actually gonna take a couple of my cubes of veggie broth, and I'm gonna use that to saute the onions and mushrooms. And again, I just freeze them in little ice cube trays. That's way whenever I need something to saute, I have something flavorful besides water. And to that, I'm going to add in onion. Once the onions start softening up, we're going to add in our mushrooms. Now, you could chop them up smaller. I'm leaving them sliced just to make them a little bit more like meatier. And we're going to let those cook down. Now our mushrooms have cooked down. We're going to add in our sauce now. So I'm going to add just some garlic. Granulated garlic, some extra basil, some Italian seasoning, some thyme because we got lots of time on our hands, and then some oregano. Now you could also add faux meat to this if you wanted to. You could add grounds, Gardein grounds, or Beyond Meat, whatever, if you want to make something a little bit meatier. But we are going to keep this wonderful. I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit. And then I'm just going to let this simmer for about 5 or 10 minutes, just to let some of those flavors melt together. Let it thicken up a little bit. So the first one we're going to put together, we're going to assemble, is the one with our noodles. So we're going to take some of our sauce. I'm just using a loaf pan. Use whatever you want. But these are almost like, that'll last me for like 3 portions. And you're just going to put your noodle in there. Make sure it's kind of in the sauce. A little extra sauce on top. I'm going to put cheese on this. Put our next one down. And again, you kind of want to fit your noodle to your pan. And then just make sure there's sauce on it so that it will cook when you're baking it in the oven. And then just keep repeating. Yes. Now I could have done, actually, now that I think of it, I should have done a ricotta cheese with some tofu. That would have been great. So that one's good. We're gonna let that one go, bake that one off. And then our next one, we're gonna make plant-based. So we're gonna take our zucchini. I'm going to just put just a tad of sauce on the bottom just so the zucchini doesn't totally stick. But because we don't have to worry about cooking the noodles, we don't need as much on the bottom. We're going to layer our cooked zucchini and just overlap it so it's covering the bottom. These are going to be your noodles. Nutritional yeast. You could add extra vegetables to this. You could make it a vegetable lasagna. Mozzarella on this layer. Let's have a little bit for the top. And just continue to layer. Since this is my last layer, I'm just going to finish off my zucchini. There we go. Here's the rest of my sauce. Make sure everything's covered in the corners. Perfect. And I'm just going to finish off with the last of the little bit of that shredded cheese that's left over. And there we go. Super simple, easy to lasagna. We're gonna throw that in the oven at 350 for about a half an hour, or until these noodles are cooked. It says about a half an hour. Sorry, 10 minutes. 10 minutes for cook time for those noodles, but again, double check them. They have to make sure. I've never used them before, so we're winging it, guys. And don't throw these out, the little pieces from all your little parts, because you can still use those in soups. That would be perfect in a soup. Lasagna soup would be awesome. Okay, in the oven we're going.